Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm sitting here with two lovely ladies that I may call my partners in crime if it comes to parenting and access classes and getting together. I have Chiara
Hello.
from Italy. I have Adrienne from Hungary. And of course, I'm in the Netherlands. So how does it get even better than that? Today I'd like to talk about conscious parents, conscious kids. Why would you take a class when you're born as a kid and you're evolving to a parent, and then you're gonna be a kid of a parent and a parent of a kid, and the whole domino just falls. So, Chiara, why?
Hey. Why? Well,
Tell me why.
nothing but no, that's not a good song for that. Right. Well, it's interesting because many times as parents we think we need to learn further lesson and then gain extra credential in order to be good parents or at least decent parents. Let's not even go with good. So conscious parent, conscious kids, it's a completely different conversation where rather than learning a lesson and kind of getting extra elements to judge you out of existence of how bad or how lacking of a parent you are, you access new energy, new perspective, new point of view, and you gain new tools to add to your toolkit to be able to better navigate intergenerational communication, because it's not only about kids, which is your kids, your patients, your students, and so on, because we all have kids and youngsters around, but it's also about better navigating a communication with your parents, for example, which might be a little bit more tricky for most of us, or yeah, or just like eldest generation is basically being extremely pragmatic and willing to really ask yourself the question, what will work here at any time? And if you need some extra tools that could help in this, family slash intergenerational communication, that's the place to go.
Hmm.
And there is of course there is of course so much more to.
That's so
Audrey.
interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting what you were saying because the word that started popping in my mind is actually what I first heard from Sara Grandinetti, the unparenting, that basically we were brought up in a way and let's just forget the whole thing and figure out our own ways and all that. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And in how many ways do we actually mimic or try to completely reject whatever the elder generation did with us? So
Totally. In Italian, we have a saying that goes, every fate is born with an heresy. So basically, you start being like, we set up a whole set of conclusion and point of view and kind of rules and regulation to, well, many of us to be in resistance with what we've been told, and some of us with agreeing with what have been told. But what if rather than having all of this reference point, you could really get rid of any and all comparisons and just start to access what you know will work. um and I just feel that's one of the works that is prevalent with parents is most of the time is empowering them to know that they know. And actually it's a bit it's a different conversation with childhood technicians in a way, so like educators, teachers, speech therapists, we have psychiatric of the evolutionary age, we call it. So it's like people that would work with kids because on one, like, they have the credential, but sometimes those protocols they learn are not completely effective in transforming, changing, and moving things. So the access consciousness perspective is so different because rather than like going by the book and following a set of rules and protocols, you really get to experiment and explore and really be curious, and you treat, and actually you start tapping again into the language of energy, which might sounds very airy fairy, but it's extremely pragmatic when working with kids. I don't know if you ever like, I don't know, talk with like it's funny I say talk, but like communicated with like selective mutism kids. They will talk they will communicate with someone and they won't communicate with someone else. What is that based on? Is it, and it's actually a question, how like congruent can you be energetically so that you can establish a conversation and a communication to move things forward.
And you know what the nice thing is? When you said selective mutism, I have a boy in the class who is not talking to anyone. So and he's in the fourth grade, so his final years, he's 17, 18, he's leaving school now. And earlier this week, he just said a full sentence to me. So I was like, what? And I was playing some access videos in the class, so it might not have anything to do with the energy you're describing. So it is really interesting what energy can do, and it might be airy fairy, as you said. That's why if I translate it to pragmatic everyday life, we as parents, we always do the work. We want it to work. We have to do something to make it work.
Yeah.
And if we stop forcing this, that logically step 1, step 2, step 3, we try to be logical, we try to be linear, we try to do the right thing, indeed how our parents raised us or what the society expects from us. But if we just let this go, and unparenting from Adrian was such a lovely addition because I never heard the term before. So if we let everything go and every single day we are just ourselves and stay in the question like, okay, so this happens. And now? What would work? What do I do with this? What can I do with this?
And thank you for mentioning that, because actually, like, one of the main struggle that I find parents and a little bit less with and actually so many conversation all at once, but like I find that many times childhood technicians, I'm gonna call them, but it's not the what I mean, like educators and all the fan of people that work around kids but they're not directly their kids. Many times they don't buy into so many point of view and limitation and judgment, because they're and I love this question, and they do live by the question of what would I choose if those were not my kids. So you take off all the right and wrong and the judgment and the consequences and what it means and how you fail and how you not. And I orchestrated 3 year of homeschooling with my kids, and that was the main question that I started with: what would I choose if those were not my kids? And I noticed that Kiara as a mom is so fucking horrendously demanding, while Kiara as a teacher, which I also am, is way more effective, is way more playful, is way more willing to like follow the energy and follow the rhythm. And I just saw that and was like, wow, so what would I choose if those were not my kids? And I would cut them way more slack than what I would do as a mom. And it's still me. And now in Access there is a big conversation about personalities and how many times you try to kind of match this image that you have as yourself in a certain role, like a mom, a wife, in the bedroom, all kind of things. And so I noticed that one of the things that parents hesitate a lot with, it's like claiming, owning, and acknowledging that they know and that they're valuable. Meaning, it's amazing that you try your bestest for your kids. And are you in the equation? Where are you in the equation? Are you pushed to one far side? And how many reasons and justification do you have for that? Like, parents of kids with disability do that all the time. They're allowed to live, they're allowed this very tiny slice of the the cake diagram. They're allowed the slightest slice for themselves because they have to take care of XYZ.
But also, let me just interrupt this with a personal story. I happen to
Oh,
know
please.
someone in my closest circle, and that basically, this lady in her 40s has two sort of problematic, quote unquote, with health issues kids, uh, who are already in their late teenage years, 16,
Mm,
17, something like that. And basically, she completely gave her life up for them. And now she got an ultimatum a couple months ago from her husband that you either find a job by August and give up this whole mommy shit, or
yeah.
I find a divorce. And it's so
Wow.
interesting because basically she was using it as an
Mm,
excuse to create the life she was actually wanting to live.
no.
So it's so interesting in how many
Mm,
ways do we feel whether it's really a sacrifice type of giving up, or is it something I would choose to be the Martha, the whatever, the
mhm.
holy mom. So
Oh God, yeah.
interesting.
Just, and it's funny because like really there is an element. I think about it a lot because I'm a plant mama big time. Like I love this greenery that I speak to from. I just and I wonder, one element that I always kind of call in is sustainability, meaning this is a long run job. Even though your kids might fire you, or even your parents might fire you for the worst daughter or the worst mom, there, I mean, if you choose to, the relationship, this road is always going to be open, no matter how many, um, slam door in your face you get. So is that going to work? And is that going to work in the long run? Like, is that sustainable? Because excluding yourself from your life, and there might be seasons of life that where you kind of need to do that because it's going to create the greatest, but is that going to be sustainable? Is that the life you really want to live?
And,
And
and sustainability has two angles. The second
mhm.
angle is that is it sustainable for you? Are you having energy at the end of the day as well? Can you
Oh yeah.
sustain being yourself and with all the roles, personalities, all the balls you keep in the air, you juggle, the jobs. At the end of the day, when you're finally allowed to get home to your kids, be a mom, you still have energy? Do you do you still have the mood, the funny, the whatever that you are?
Mm,
That's sustainability as well. Does it work for you on the long run in a day as well?
And
totally.
when you put them to bed, do you still have energy for your significant or not so significant other? So
For
it's like
yourself.
just so many stuff, because that's
Yeah.
another very interesting question about where and how we give up in certain parts of us on the altar of parenthood and whatever. So
Oh
it's just so many. I mean,
God.
we could be sitting here talking for like days, I guess.
Which we will, but not now. It's gonna be in August.
Yes.
But it's absolutely true. There's so many layers to this. And actually the conscious parent, conscious kids class is, I kind of hesitating talking about it as a class. It is a class, meaning you have a manual, you have 2 days of ongoing facilitation, you have the chance to bring to participate as a family. So kids are more than welcome. Actually, kids are more than welcome. It's just actually they might make even things easier if you allow them to. And what can you receive from your kids as well? So that's a question that we might not be used to, but we can consider as well. So it is a kind of open conversation with some written tools that are going to be there for you, because basically the idea is, again, to be pragmatic. And I love what Gabby was saying about we do the job. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what, and I love your take. It was exactly the take I was going for around sustainability. It's it's a it's a job that you never switch off. Even when you're sleeping, you need to step up your level of awareness and your level of presence to the next level. And even like right now, and we were chatting with Adrian before, but both of our, I will say, set of kids, because we both have three boys and they're with their daddies for however length of time it is. I don't stop being a mom. I don't switch off my awareness and my presence just because my kids are on the other side of the world. um it's a different muscle, and it's a muscle you're gonna be exercising. Like it's really an exercise of presence and leadership that we might have not acknowledged and claimed the leaders that we truly be.
Hmm.
So it's really about really claiming and acknowledging, learning tips and tricks, and actually meeting with a potent group of, um, I would say like-minded, but it's not exactly the term, but like-spirited people that are really looking for more, that are not setting up with less and with being contempt, but they're adding parenting to their superpowers. So,
Yes.
what superpowers of parenting can you be adding and can you be receiving from that you have never considered? What assets are kids in your life, and what assets are you as a kid in your life that you could further explore and
Mm.
use to your advantage, you know? So, oh,
Bring your kids, show us the problem. What can you learn from each other, from your kids, yourself, other kids, your kids from other moms, other dads?
mm,
It's 17th and 18th of August, Saturday,
mm-hmm.
Sunday, 2 days from 10 to 5. And we're
Yes,
gonna have a huge party during class,
yes,
after the class. So bring it on. We see you.
yay!
In
Can't wait.
Budapest, Hungary, and online.
And
Yes.
online, yes.
Yeah.
Cannot
So
wait, ladies. Thank you so freaking much. I'm like, ah, planning games already.
Okay. And we keep on going, so just stay tuned.
yay. See you
Bye.
soon.